Well, my goodness. When it comes to motion, when it comes to moving the needle, we all know the one that does that in women's sports. Notice I just didn't say women's basketball. In women's sports, we know who is not only moved the needle, but one could argue moved the needle and broke the needle clean off. And that is Caitlin.
When it comes to commanding the spotlight in women's basketball, one name stands far above the rest, Caitlin Clark. She hasn't simply made waves. She's redefined what it means to revolutionize the game. From smashing attendance records to outselling the entire league in jersey sales and drawing massive national TV audiences, Caitlin isn't just moving the needle. She's blown the entire meter off the charts.
Let's get to Luka Dončić, all right? Who, of course, plays for the Lakers now after having been traded from the Dallas Mavericks. And my goodness, he was asked about his favorite women's basketball player. This is hilarious.
Believe it or not, there are still people out there who just don't get it. Enter Luka Dončić, who recently gave one of the most refreshingly honest takes on women's basketball in recent memory. When asked about the sport, he didn't hedge or give a politically safe response. He went all in, naming Caitlin Clark as his favorite player. And let's just say, he didn't exactly roll out the red carpet for Paige Bueckers. While Paige has the potential to be a solid player in the WNBA, the media is already treating her like the league's next savior, before she's even played a single professional game. Meanwhile, Caitlin continues to shatter records, elevate the sport, and prove herself on the court every time she plays. If you're riding with Caitlin, drop a CC in the comments below. Let's go.
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlin Clark.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, like Paige Bueckers?
She's okay. I didn't see her playing in the women's NBA, so...
She just got drafted.
#1.
Dallas.
Luka's reaction? Straight savage. He didn't even hesitate before dropping Caitlin Clark's name. And when a reporter tried to steer the conversation toward Paige Bueckers, Luka gave the verbal equivalent of a shrug emoji. She's okay, he muttered casually. The kicker? He admitted he hadn't even watched Paige in the WNBA. Because, well, there's nothing to watch. She hasn't played a single game.
Hilarious. Who's your favorite women's basketball player? Caitlin Clark. You don't like Paige Bueckers? Quote, shrugs. She's okay. Haven't seen her play in the WNBA, so... Okay. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Petty as F. It is, and it's great.
And that's the punchline the legacy media just can't handle. While some outlets are working overtime to manufacture a rivalry, Luka's take exposed a truth the basketball world already knows. Caitlin Clark is the moment. Paige Bueckers is still waiting for hers.
Of course, the collateral part of that is he used to play in Dallas, which is where Paige Bueckers plays now. And by the way, last I checked, her rookie game, debut game, still was not sold out as of yet, which tells you the impact or lack thereof. I mean, let's just be real.
Luka's whole exchange was hilarious, but also incredibly revealing. He didn't have to disrespect anyone. He just wasn't buying into the media hype. Luka knows elite talent when he sees it, and with Caitlin Clark, he sees a bona fide superstar rewriting the record books. When Paige Bueckers comes up, it's like someone hyping a movie trailer for a film that hasn't even premiered.
NBA GMs have actually been talking about Paige, and thank God, like, just because you're seeing mad stuff, genuinely, you're going to be seeing mad stuff from the media, does not mean that the WNBA GMs are not being a little bit more honest with what they've.
It's not personal, it's professional. Caitlin Clark has delivered under pressure, shattered records, and elevated an entire franchise. Paige Bueckers, she's got posters. And that's the real difference. Even among coaches and analysts who understand the game at the highest level, the consensus is beginning to shift. Paige may still draw plenty of media attention, but few genuinely expect her to take the league by storm the way Clark already has. She hasn't been tested in the fire yet, and in a league as unforgiving as the WNBA, potential doesn't mean much until it's proven on the court.
general manager put it, I think she can impact the league immediately. She can be dangerous right away, which is true, which is very, very true. Like, we can't lie and say that GMs last year did not literally say the words, I would trade my entire team for Caitlin Clark. Like, we can talk about that. Like, this, they did say it.
Luka's shoulder shrug wasn't just funny. It was a reality check. Paige might be hyped, but Clark is historic. She's already transforming how people watch women's basketball, how they talk about it, and, most importantly, how they invest in it. Luka's quiet indifference toward Paige wasn't shade. It was honesty.
I think it makes her special. She can fill a gap. She can fill whatever gap. And that's true. And that's the one thing with Paige, is Paige will always fit in, whereas Caitlin Clark was the system. Like, I don't know, like, how great Caitlin Clark would have been if you put her on, I don't know, she's good enough that if you put her on every team, she would have been insanely good. But, like, Caitlin Clark fits out. She is the system. And I can guarantee you that Caitlin Clark's system is going to win a ring.
While Luka's honesty was cutting through the noise, others in the WNBA world were busy trying to rewrite the narrative. Case in point, Dallas Wings GM Kurt Miller, who awkwardly suggested that Paige Bueckers would have a tougher rookie season than Caitlin Clark, because Clark supposedly benefited from the Olympic break. Let's break that down, because, frankly, it's laughable.
Wings GM conveys key difference in Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark's rookie season. He said the one thing when you talk about last season is that Paige won't have the benefit that Caitlin did. And this is nothing against Caitlin, but we had an Olympic break last year. So you got to see some players take a month-long break, essentially. And those rookies were coming off a grueling season in the collegiate game. They got a break and got to reset and finish strong.
Caitlin Clark didn't stroll into the WNBA refreshed and well-rested. She entered the league after one of the most grueling seasons in NCAAW history, carrying Iowa all the way to the national title game while under the weight of unprecedented media pressure. Less than 2 weeks later, she was already in training camp with the Indiana Fever. No break, no buffer, just straight into the fire.
Draft class, which includes Paige, is not going to have that luxury. We don't have a big break where they can almost catch a second win and then push to the finish line in the second half of the season, he continued. So we have to watch this rookie class around the league about load management. It's not just our rookies. We're all going to be tuned in to load management, especially these rookies that played long into their collegiate season. I didn't really see any of the benefit that Caitlin Clark got coming into the season.
There was no rest, no gradual onboarding, no Olympic break for Caitlin Clark. Just pure exhaustion, unrelenting media attention, and a mountain of expectations. She was thrown into the fire, expected to save a franchise, and, in many ways, an entire league. So, what did she do with all that pressure? She crushed it. Clark led the league in assists, shattered 62 records, packed arenas, and turned WNBA tickets into the hottest commodity in sports. So, please, spare us the excuses.
We want to see Caitlin Clark and we want to see Paige Bueckers.
Caitlin scored more points per game, but Paige was more efficient.
Paige Bueckers has had one of the best careers in the history of women's college basketball. On paper, you could make the case that Paige Bueckers has better college career than Caitlin Clark. But this is the world of television, where you're not judged based on your accomplishments. You're not judged based on your stats. You're judged based on your drawing power. And looking at these ratings for the women's tournament, it is abundantly clear Paige Bueckers might be a star, but she's not a draw.
To suggest Caitlin Clark had it easier is not only wrong, it's an insult to everything she endured and achieved. It's a desperate attempt by those trying to force parity where there is none. Caitlin didn't need rest or a soft landing. What she needed was one thing, a basketball. And when she got it, she showed the world what true greatness looks like. So, while Luka Dončić is out here keeping it real, the media needs to catch up. This isn't a rivalry. Paige Bueckers is undeniably talented, but she's still standing in the shadow of a phenom. And if the early takes from real hoopers are any indication, that shadow isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
These two were the topic of conversation. Who's the better player?
She's not nearly the player that Caitlin Clark is.
You know, she's been really disappointing this whole tournament.
We're not creating this rivalry. We're not saying they hate each other, but they are two of the best in the game, right?
There's been a subtle push to set softer expectations for Paige Bueckers, just in case she falls short of the level Caitlin Clark reached in her rookie season. But the truth is, there's no comparison. Caitlin Clark has already cemented her place as the face of the WNBA. She's the breakout sensation who brought in a new wave of fans, packed arenas to the rafters, and shattered television records across the board. Paige may have been a standout in college, but as far as the WNBA is concerned, she's still just a name, unproven, untested, and unchallenged on the professional stage. When she finally steps on that court, the only thing that will matter is her performance. Not the media hype, not the carefully constructed narratives, just the scoreboard.
If the impact was what we're led to believe, two things would have happened there. All right. Her debut game would have been moved to the American Airlines Arena. It hasn't been. By the way, her game against Caitlin Clark has been moved there to where the Mavericks play. And it would have been sold out at record speed. Neither one of those things have happened.